Hello. Ta-da! Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can hear me. And do not worry, the other one is coming. I suspect he is sprinting from the garden. Good evening, everyone. You can just let me know you can hear me, just to make sure the audio is coming through. I'm pretty sure it is, but... But also, I don't know who's sending chat at the moment. That's You can't hear me. Fantastic. Right.
Hello. Any technical problems? Yes, I'm good. You? Do, 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 do. I would never say anything silly. You know that. We've only just started. Yeah, gotta lead up to the silliness. Uh-oh. Well, that's a winning combination right there. Happy times. Hello, have you introduced everyone and everything? Yeah, that's very kind of you. Please say my audio is still there. And I can just tell everyone what you're saying. Oh, brilliant. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
so you can all hear me fine, but you can't hear Tom. Excellent combination.
Because apparently my microphone detached itself from broadcasting. However, it should be there now. Hopefully you can hear me a lot better now. Yeah, there we go.
Pardon?
Now you start. All
What
right.
do you say? Win-win.
Why yeah! You look so blurry?
Anyway. Why do you look so blurry?
Anyway, fine. I can see
welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to Sit, Talk and Hobby live stream episode 109.
109.
So those who are new to the stream, what we essentially do, it's all in the title. So we sit, we talk the talk, we do a bit of hobby, and we encourage you all to do exactly that. And join us as we progress in all sorts of hobby goodness.
I mean, because you join our Discord as well. I've just posted another link.
Yeah, yeah, chuck a little cheeky little link in there. Tom, what hobby are you working on tonight?
I'm doing a little bit. So I'm working on. When I say a little bit, I mean like this little. I have
100 kilometers.
100 kilometers, which I'm doing some slightly jazzy stuff with. Or I'm trying to anyway for next week. I have two actually, but weirdly, this one seems to be missing the little bit that goes on the side. I don't know. I have no idea where that's gone. It's fine. I'm gonna mod something with it or do something. So it's not the end of the world. Just a bit weird because I actually don't know where it is because it looks like it's actually snapped off. And when I look on,
we give you one tiny model for your painting challenge, and
No,
you've lost half of
they're
it.
both fine. Look, it's two together.
Oh, you got two of them. Nice. Cool. That's good.
Yeah, and I suppose you're doing something similar, or maybe you're not. I don't know.
I am. I am going to be painting some beautiful baby cherubs because the Emperor loves a cherub.
No.
I've got a selection of cherubs.
I couldn't
here
bring
I'm
myself
working
to start on a cherub. I'm still a bit, yeah.
baby cherubs.
Every time I kind of think, how would they sound? Probably weird.
Not nice.
But I hope a few of you are still working on yours. We have seen a few posts going up, so please get those challenges. It's due next Tuesday, so make sure you have it ready for then and get it posted up before then if you can, because that makes it a bit easier for us to do some judging. We won't be including ours in the judging. Don't worry. Ours are just there to show that you.
Yeah,
can
we won't include our hunter killer missile.
No.
Or single cherubs.
Single
No, I've got a load of cherubs here. I'm going to base them as well.
Oh my goodness.
I've got I don't know if anyone remembers my Sister of Battle, but because I don't really share them very often. But they've got the Necromunda bases that are like industrial bases. So I'm going to do a bit on them actually.
I'm going to base mine as well. Mine's got a really cool base. See that? It's an entire rhino.
Yeah.
Which I painted just for this as well. So.
Yeah, paint the base is the hard part. What's everyone painting and hobbying on tonight? Hopefully you're all doing some good hobby stuff. If not, why not?
Yeah, I want some explanations, please. Just for any of who inquisitors, I'm painting my new Terminator captain today. When he's done, I'm going to paint the teleport homer, and I assume the teleport homer is the challenge part, because unless you're going to, as again, these Terminators are base, you could be holding it. That's quite a good base.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
some good stuff.
So I mean, quite a lot has happened in the hobby world over the last week or so. Obviously, Leviathan released last week. And I know.
Oh, weird.
And I hope all of you guys are not in this situation where you haven't received your goods yet. It does seem to be a bit of a few people having issues. I think there's oddly enough people that ordered from Games Workshop are doing their usual thing where they only sent it on the day that it released. I
mean that's bizarre, isn't it? Really.
I've always found that a bit funny, and when people were saying it, and I thought, no, they did do that, and they're still doing it, which is just very strange. So I hope none of you had to wait too long for your Leviathans. Obviously, I think me and Dom decided to skip this particular release, mainly because
there was nothing in that box.
Yeah, I mean there was stuff I wanted, but I kind of want. I think when I looked, I kind of want the proper versions of the kits, not the snap fit. Because I remember the last time I got snap fit for my Templars, it was a bit of a pain to put the iconography on and stuff like that the way I wanted to, because obviously I've got lots of shoulder pads and all this kind of stuff. So I'd rather have the ability to put on exactly what I want.
Yeah, I think especially with the Terminators, they're going to have that option, aren't they, where they can put the pauldrons on,
yes,
custom, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, because obviously with the snap fit, you have to shave the pauldrons off to put pauldrons on, which is just not what I'm really wanting to do at the moment, if I'm totally honest. So I thought I'd save a bit of money.
No, you don't.
And we also, obviously, me and Dom had a game of 10th edition last week on stream. So if you haven't watched that, probably go check it out. You never know, you might have some fun. I know we did. It was a bit of an interesting game. Just learning the rules. I think Dom came with a bit of an advantage as usual. I lost your audio.
I'll tell you what, though, I was thinking. I was thinking the other day. I was thinking Chaos Knights are going to be absolutely disgusting to play and play against.
Oh really? Why?
Yeah, because you think how tough like the dreadnoughts were against normal troops, or generally tanks against troops.
Yeah, okay.
Because there's that big divide now between anti-infantry and anti-armor weapons, and if you've got a whole army of war dogs, you can have like maybe a dozen war dogs on the board. That's going to be some tough battling.
So weirdly, a bit like how it used to be back in the older times. I mean, I say the older times. We're talking like maybe 7th edition, I suppose, when it was quite difficult to beat them off the board. Actually, saying that 7th wouldn't have been a good example because they had destroyer weapons back then, so probably wasn't as
Well,
bad.
no. Even then, to be fair, like destroyer weapons, you have to go out your way to have destroyer weapons, haven't you? They
True.
don't come by.
Not all armies even had them. I think, to be fair.
No.
I mean, obviously, I don't know. I don't think Daryl's in chat, but obviously his Wraith Knights. I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah, exactly. That was a bit of a beast, wasn't it? But yeah, I think in general, because when I played, so I did that last tournament, which is like the goodbye for 9th edition, and I went against Chaos Knights with my word bearers, and that was a tough fight. Like if I didn't have my 2 predators, I would have just been completely decimated because there's just so many. You can kill a couple, but you can't kill all of them, let alone in 10th edition when they're going to be completely brutal against any army that hasn't got any anti-armor or limited anti-armor. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
I
agree. I think vehicles are making a strong but needed comeback. I think there will be some adjustments made fairly quickly, though. I'm going to guess, because I mean, actually saying that, I kind of hope they don't. But
no, I don't. I hope they don't. I think vehicles are where they should be. I think they should be tough.
What we got here?
Right. So, friendly to. Oh, you can go for it.
Oh yeah, sure. So now that Warhound Titans are only 1,100 points, when are we going to see a 2K game with them? Well, I mean, if me and Dom basically go, we're both going to bring one each, and they're the same cost. I mean, there's no reason we couldn't.
Yeah.
Could even do a little night game with one
Knights
Warhound.
And Titans.
Yeah, one Warhound Titan each, and a large Warhound Titan. I think that would be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Try out some of these things because I mean, I don't know how much you've been following other channels the last couple of weeks about running tournaments and stuff like this. And, I've watched a few of them, and I think there's been some weird reports about. I think I heard some stuff about in Germany they were banning 10th edition entirely, apparently, because it wasn't balanced enough or something. I don't know. There's some interesting stories floating about. I was trying to bring some positivity for 10th because it's like a new system that they're trying to. I think actually with their simplifying of rules, but also adjusting. I think actually it's the battlefield role thing. Yeah, I think everyone's got stuck in a. Because obviously, I think I noticed that quite late when we were playing the other day. There is no elites anymore. There is no heavy. It's just other units.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are still stuck in that. I suppose headspace of how they build these lists from previous edition. I think it might take a while for people to sort of go, oh, actually, I can just take what I want. It doesn't matter.
I think it'd be interesting. Yeah, you're right. Because it depends. On the competitive side of things, a lot of armies you don't go that heavy on troops anyway.
No.
You kind of pick what you want to pick because it's nice. So you still got the rule of 3 in place.
Of course.
But I think we've got to see what the codexes bring because we're all on the indexes at the moment. So I think when we see the codexes dropping and we can start seeing how the armies are actually laid out in there, detachment-wise, etc., we might see a different ball game. But I think we've also got to remember you got like the objective secure rule as well, and
yes, it's the same. It's the same thing, but sticky objectives. That's it, isn't it? Because I think it's mainly sticky now because obviously the objective control unit rule is about
objective control. That's the word.
Yeah, because that's where battle line units come into play. So I'd be interested. Yeah, I mean, we don't know really because we both. I mean, I played a few battle line units, but didn't really come up an awful lot if I'm really honest. Because most of the stuff on there was dying in about 3 seconds before it had a chance to actually, I suppose that number to become an actual factor.
I mean that game was particularly brutal, wasn't it? As soon as the unit was exposed, it was either alive or it was dead. There was no kind of middle ground. Like, oh, actually, it might be all right for another round.
But yeah, I think the one thing I definitely noticed was that the amount of stuff you took for that 2,000 points has increased dramatically. I mean, if I hadn't taken as many vehicles, I was thinking, geez, I probably could have bought loads of stuff on foot. loads.
But that's the thing, though,
yeah.
isn't it? You can bring loads of foot sloggers, but then if your opponent starts bringing armor,
oh yeah,
how
you
are you
can't.
going to deal with
You're gonna have problems. Well,
dedicated anti-armor.
yeah. I mean, say that there are plenty of Space Marine, I suppose, armor counters in their codex. I'm going to guess. I haven't really kind of gone through it all, but I could have tried out the old exterminators or eradicators. Sorry, pardon me, not exterminators.
Eradicators.
Yeah, and seen how they see what they did, because I mean, they're supposed to be built for that kind of play. So it would be interesting to see how that, but ultimately, I got a couple. I mean, even I got a couple of rules wrong when we were playing as well, because I didn't realise I don't get the Gladius detachment rules on top of the Crusade ones that I have, because so the things like the Devastated Doctrine, that I don't actually get that as a Space Marine, because that's a different detachment rule, but I do get the overall Astartes rule, which is the Oath of the Moment, which is basically giving that re-roll to hits and wounds on one against one enemy. So I've got to bear that in mind. I don't think it really came out, to be honest, luckily, because I think I forgot. I think I said to you I forgot anyway, about halfway through the game.
Yeah. I mean, it's easily done. Like,
oh yeah,
A, first game, and B as well. It's a different, whole different system at the moment, isn't it? So it's trying to get your head around the mechanics of it. Hopefully you all enjoyed our stream game last week. I think next week, or not next week, next time we do a stream game, I will bring my Necrons.
Oh, nice! I'll try.
I want to see what they can do.
But yeah, it was nice. It was nice to sort of just give it a go, work around. I think even both you and me said that we had a bit more impetus to film some non-stream games again, which was nice. So hopefully we'll see some of them. I wouldn't say like instantaneously in the next, but they'll be coming. Don't worry. We just need to get. I think we probably want to do one together at some point. I'm going to guess. I hope so. Anyway, otherwise I'll be very sad. And get an actual recorded one, because I've got some stuff I want to test out for recording as well. So I'm looking forward to trying that out. And get back to doing some things that we haven't done. I mean, I can't remember the last time we did it. I think it probably was the Apocalypse game, I'd imagine, Dom. It was the last proper recorded.
Game was the last. Yeah, it was definitely the last properly recorded one, wasn't it? Yeah, definitely. So there are some coming. So far I'm enjoying 10th. I mean, I play Chaos. I love Chaos. A lot of fun. Be interested to see how things change as obviously things progress. And yeah, I want to check the other armies out and see what they can do. Crack the guard out at some point. See if they're up to scratch. Obviously, Chaos Knights.
And I must admit, I was pleasantly surprised by the cost of the index cards.
Yes, actually, that wasn't too bad, was it? How much was the Marine one? Because I'm guessing that was
£15, so it was £5 more. Because I mean, ultimately, I can't. I could bitch and moan about, oh well, you've charged £10, but then they have about twice the amount of cards of any other thing, which also I think is just ridiculous. Really, the balance on that must be. Yeah, I'm trying to think about how they balance. The person balancing the game, going, well, if everyone had the same amount, it'd be a bit easier. And they're like, well, what if this one faction had double the amount of everyone?
Yeah,
so it's going to be a bit more difficult.
And then you got the likes of like, I don't know how much of like custodes were in comparison.
Yeah, I haven't checked actually. I must admit. I mean, there's one person in chat who might be able to tell us. I think Mr. Dave Holland was about, and considering his purchases today, he should be able to tell us, because he's probably made a very informed purchasing decision if I know him. Yeah, I'm interested to see how some of the other armies stack up in other situations. I mean, to be fair, I kind of feel that the Marine index cards is a blessing and a curse, because I think when you have a lot of choice, sometimes it makes it, I suppose, difficult to focus in on actually, what I genuinely want to do. I mean, luckily, because I'm playing Templars, I have a particular. My pool automatically gets a little bit smaller because I only consider certain units. Anyway, I don't. Yeah, there's certain things like Desolator Marines. They're not being included in my army. Even though a lot of people say they're good. Obviously, I mean, there's some other channels which I won't go into, but
they are good.
Have found certain loophole rules to do some ridiculous amount of wounds, but if you want to go and check them out, just Google it. You'll probably find exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, I mean, I suppose actually we do have. I mean, I know you've got a 10th event coming up, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have
Um,
indeed. Next month. Isn't it?
so
Yeah,
unfortunately, I
next month.
couldn't make that one because I
I
was on.
think what the day is.
I'm on call that week, sadly. Otherwise, I would love to have popped along with that. But we've also got the Idic beer one coming up as well, actually, in August. It's just around the corner.
Yep.
That should be interesting. We're going to see some more YouTubers there and have a nice to see Nick again. It's been genuinely has been a year since I've seen him, but such is the way life is sometimes. Getting around and talking to other people can be a bit of a challenge for when you're busy. But anyway, there we go. Try and do as best as we can. Plus, I think we were kind of, I think ninth for us was a little bit on the, we'll see what happens. 10th was getting quite a big build up at the time, so I think that was kind of where we were hoping to pick things back up again.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are. Dave's answer.
Yeah. So far,
I've
not been disappointed by 10th. I'm enjoying it so far.
Oh, I liked your chaos.
Yeah. How much was it, Dave? If you don't mind me asking, for the Custode one?
I think it's a tenner
in comparison to the Space Marine one.
I think it would be a tenner, mate, because all of them.
Yeah, I can't mention. Yeah.
Plus, that's if yours is a tenner, you've got about the same amount of cards. I think 50 odd. I think yours is 52 from yours. I think. Obviously, I know because I basically I printed them for me and Dom anyway for the first lot because actually, as much as I think the data card's quite cheap, I'm a little bit nervous about buying them because I suspect there's going to be some heavy FAQing going on in the next couple of months. Because the amount
I think especially if you're a Space Marine player, it's kind of like, ugh, like how soon do I buy these and is it worth my time? Because I've already got the app, I've already got the free printout. I mean, I'm not besmirching anyone that does because obviously it is a massive inconvenience having to go through the download or print them off yourself or use the app. So cool.
I mean, actually, the app isn't too bad. I personally feel.
I like the app. I think
because they've now made it so you make your list, cool. You can export your list properly, but also you just click on the list entry and it will give you all the stats. But the nice thing about it, they finally made it so that when there's a special rule in there, you click that and it actually takes you to the rule rather than you going, oh, it's got that as it, right? I'll look that one up then, shall I?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks more straightforward, doesn't it, than the previous one, and it's so much easier than
I think that's down to the point system, though. I think that's down to the way they've done the points.
Yeah,
and I think time will tell whether that has if that will stay the same or if we're going to go, they might go back to being able to pick and choose points, but we just don't know, quite frankly. I mean, the way that they're building the competitive scene, I suspect that competitive will get a different point system. Once the first pack comes out for it or whatever. Obviously, I don't know if you saw the Crusade book that's been announced as well, but
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I quite like the point system as it is, to be honest, and I don't think necessarily things have to change.
No,
because if you're gonna if you want to lean into the competitive side of things, you're just going to keep this, more optimal loadout anyway.
Yeah.
So why complicate things by changing the points? Because everyone's going to be doing the same thing.
But they might be. But those point combinations. Sense. Well, the problem with that is those point combinations might mean more to a particular army than to another army.
But that's just how it is.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's exactly how it is.
But the point is, it's
kind of the thing where
so
there's always going to be that one faction that's going to be at the top all the time, and so it's just No, I completely get what you mean.
I don't know. I think that's not what they're shooting for. I think if they do that, they failed. I think they've really built this as the one where they're trying to get that balance right, which is why I think they've pulled the competitive section completely out of what we've bought into at the moment.
Mm.
I think they're going to get
We'll wait and see.
I mean, I think there'll be. I think they'll change it slightly. I think there will be. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made the competitive thing, not in the current set of rules. It sounds like they're carry on with their 6 monthly releases of competitive Warzone locations which will have a particular setup in them, probably, and I suspect they'll probably tie together the points releases with each of those releases as well, which is what technically what they used to do anyway, which is the weird thing about it. That's it's just I think they didn't need to.
It'd be interesting to see, because this is obviously taking a bit of a influence from AOS in the way they do things. So it'd be interesting to see how they do it on the competitive front as well. Because with Battlescribe going the way of the Dodo, it's Games Workshop be able to analyze their data a lot more. Like I said in previous streams, like if everyone's using the app, hello Andy, I hope you're
Andy.
okay.
You're
if
doing
everyone's
well,
using the app, GW can look at the data and then go, oh well, this faction's doing particularly well. Why is that going well? And they can make more balance. That beer seems to have gone right for you.
But yes, you're right. I think they would be able to analyze their own data for a change, because I think in the previous app iteration, I don't think it was particularly heavy used, if that much at all. Which is why not only did they sort of update it, they completely scrapped the old version. It looked like they went, this isn't working, let's do a rebuild. That's pretty much what you can see there. But that's a good thing, because as long as they carry on updating it in a good manner, that's fine. That's always the key,
I said I've used the AOS one now, and like just going in as a novice to use that app, I was like, oh, this is so easy. Like, it's like so straightforward. Where the 40k one was so convoluted and confusing. I was like, and I'm a 40k player. Like, what's going on?
I think the one thing on the new app that I'm not a big fan of is that when you do get something wrong, it doesn't really guide you particularly well to fixing whatever the problem is. So I hope they resolve that particular part. It's like when you build a max size unit and they go, oh, your guy's got the incorrect loadout, or what part of it's incorrect? Is it because he has got...
Oh, okay.
Because I noticed, for instance, when you take the biggest Crusader size squad, it sort of goes, oh, some of your initiates aren't equipped right. And I'm like, well, they've got a thingy and a thingy. What else do they need? Oh, right, you need me to deduct 2 off here, put 2 of these in, and then make them all have this, But they don't tell you necessarily what is missing from that loadout. So it would be nice to have that as a little pointer towards exactly what you've done.
Yeah, hopefully
incorrectly.
Oh, very nice, Andy.
Some Bullgrins.
Nice.
Cool.
Hopefully they'll take the comments and criticism on board, and
hopefully they're watching and they'll listen to specifically what I just said.
Yeah, they'll sort that one problem out.
Yeah.
Like, this guy
knows what he's talking about.
This problem out.
So secretly they listen to us anyway, mate. They've taken all our suggestions from the last sort of few years, so it's fine. I think.
That'll explain a lot of the problems of Ninth.
Because I know. We're kind of guilty for that as well, I suppose. All right. Yeah.
We screwed that up.
Yeah, sorry guys, it's our fault.
We screwed that up for everyone.
We are responsible for the fact that 9th had to be redone to 10th. So sorry about that. That's a new shirt idea.
One moment.
Oh, hello. He's had to get up and move over. And now we see Dominic in his natural habitat as he goes towards the gaming cupboard to remove.
I'm back.
And he'll never know.
How rude. How very rude.
I was doing a David Attenborough.
Yeah, so who else is doing hobby? Hopefully some of you are doing some hobby. Unforgivable if not.
Well, it's not unforgivable. I mean, I think
people
should be able to do what they want.
So lenient. We're so lenient on them. It's
do you reckon we had to sort of put a penalty in now for people that don't compete in the challenge? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if we know you have models and you're not competing, there will be a punishment.
And some of us we know, some of you we know very well. All right. And you know
very intimately. Battlefield has a mechanic of having higher Marine Force fail their battle shock versus NIDS and lost by 1 point.
Yes.
So cool.
yeah, Battle Shock is a good element because it's not. I think the nice thing about Battle Shock, it doesn't penalise you more by losing more men. It just means that it just makes them less effective, which I quite like. Because before you could, I mean, there were situations where it's like, oh, I've lost. I think it feels less random.
Yeah, people.
I think it feels less random because sometimes if you had rolled badly on those 1s and 2s, you could literally destroy what would have been a reasonably effective fighting force. Because you failed a leadership role, which is fine. I get the idea what they were trying to do, but now it's about the fact that they can't quite hold on to objectives as effectively, which I like the idea of more personally.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think there's going to be some. I think there's going to definitely be some tweaks coming up because I know there's been. I think some people have run someone ran a GT the other week, didn't they? I haven't actually watched their video yet, but I might pop over and have a little look to be a bit more informed on the subject before I start making wild judgments.
No, fire from the hip, Tom. Fire from the hip.
Oh, I don't want to. I'll say something I don't mean.
How's your hunter killer missile going?
Go on, fake. There we go.
Very nice.
I've gone with a red and blue motif with some. This is the most effort I put into hunter killer missile ever. So it's already it's already ridiculous. I'm edge highlighting it. It's just normally I'll get the old dry brush out and go, there we go, that'll do. That fits with the model.
And done.
Now let me just pop on to something quick one sec, because hopefully it doesn't kick out the stream. Sorry if it does, guys. There was a couple of suggestions here. Okay, yeah. So we Dom did ask earlier. It has kicked out the stream, but it'll come back in a bit. So just the video's gone. So bear with it 1 minute. It's back again. What on earth? So lots of people talk about motivation, but how do you maintain hobby focus? I'm usually pretty good about enjoying the hobby and accomplishing bits consistently and moving towards my goals. It is so easy to decide something else shiny should be the goal. That is Mike.
Mikey Mike. So, Tom, you've kind of recently covered this topic.
I have, yes. I mean, in a slightly different angle, but it's the same. Yeah, it's the same overall topic, definitely. I think what I've learned now over quite a few years of this hobby is actually don't have too much stuff going on at the same time. In all seriousness, when you make a commitment to cut down a backlog of stuff, just do that for a bit, and no matter how tempting other things are, unless you are, okay. There are some exceptions in the fact that if you have stuff that you just don't want to do anymore, learn to let go of them as well. To say, okay, I don't want to do this. I like to do with my Grey Knights, yeah. I've said to myself, look, I've kept these around for ages. I keep beating myself out about not finishing off, but actually I don't really want to play them. So guess what? They got sold. Get rid of them. Get rid of stuff you genuinely don't want to do anymore. And then, oddly enough, the focus sort of comes from the fact that when you've only got the stuff you actually enjoy painting left on your table, you kind of go, excellent, this is what I'm doing. And the other thing is, when you do feel tired of painting, just take a step back for a bit. Don't feel bad about not finishing stuff. I mean, I suppose for me and Dom, it's slightly different, the fact that we tend to try and generate content for a channel. So when we step back for a bit and it ends up being 2 or 3 weeks, it can sometimes impact what content we get out, which is one thing I know I've been trying to be better at, and I think I actually have been personally. I've been getting stuff out every couple of weeks now, quite happily. In fact, 2 lots of stuff, because I've done a bit on my Templars and a bit on that. But staying focused on a particular thing is set a goal and try and finish it. And I'm an advocate of batch painting, or I have been for a long while. I've kind of calmed that down a bit. By when I say now I pick a particular thing I want to finish, and I'll finish that from start to finish, and then move on to the next thing and stop. I've still got a box of, just behind me over here, I've still got the Sister Battle box I bought at Warhammer Fest. I haven't opened it because I know if I do and meet all the models, I'm going to have a load more grey stuff that's going to make me feel bad. So,
So essentially, what you're saying there, Tom, is just keep it in the box.
yeah.
Just keep it in the box. Then you can't
Out
see
of
the plastic,
sight, out of
and
mind.
then it's all good.
No, keep it in the box until you're ready to actually deal
It's
with.
just a cardboard box. Nothing in the box.
You see, he doesn't get it. Yeah, he's just. Yeah. Where's Angron? Is he in a box?
No, he's here. I did some on his wings
Oh,
earlier.
a wing. Oh, such proof.
I'm not showing too much at the moment.
I know.
He's
just messing.
He's there. Yeah. Everything has paint on it.
It doesn't count if you just pour it in the box and shake it around there, all right, mate?
Loads going on there. I can't show you.
No, of course. I mean, it wouldn't show up on camera, would it? The grey's too reflective. It's...
Right, look. Here's a bit more. Here's his arm. Here's one of his arms. I don't know how well that's picking up, but yeah, cool. He's getting there.
Just for anyone, just for context, Dom hates showing stuff as a work in progress. Is a general rule.
I'm not a fan.
It
looks horrible.
I am on the other end of the spectrum, which is quite interesting. I don't mind so much, because I mean, I wouldn't even say I dealt with the criticism of people saying, "Oh, look, that's not finished. Why are you showing it?" I said, "No, because actually, sometimes you can get I think sometimes you get a valuable comment from someone. Sometimes you get the opposite, which is fine. But I do understand both paths of thought. You know, some people don't like to show off stuff that's midway through. Some people do. That's again totally up to the individual.
I don't think it's a right or wrong about
100%
at all. It's down to your personal preference, what you want to do.
I agree.
Yeah, I personally, I might show whip stuff further on in the process. However, I really, if I don't like it, I'm not going to show it. That's pretty much my rule of thumb. Like, if I'm looking at it going, that looks rubbish, I'm not going to bother.
And that's why Dom doesn't show many of his models.
Yeah, why would I? Why would I show any of my models?
He's got a special cupboard in the bottom left-hand corner over there of his cabinet over there at the bottom, just below the table, which has got all the stuff that he doesn't show off. It's literally just, he doesn't even care about it. He just crams it in, slams the door shut.
I'll tell you what, look, I've got like models here that I've always started and then just lost motivation. So I've got like Imperial Guard.
See, now you're helping with the subject of the question.
Yeah, I just couldn't be bothered. So I don't bother painting them. I mean, even these cherubs, to be honest, Tom. So the thing is, this is a good thing about our painting challenge, because these cherubs are just sat on my painting station since I think we were going to do a doubles event. And I was going to take my sister battle. And they've sat there for a very long time in the same state of disrepair. And the painting challenge has given me a perfect reason to pick them up. So I think to deal with hobby block, sometimes a painting challenge is what you need to do, because it just kind of goes, oh, actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to enter this model that's been sitting there for a while that I really I haven't been bothered to do. So I'm just going to paint it, enter it in, and it's finished. It's
what they call accountability.
Yeah.
If you say something that you're going to do something, I think it's harder for someone to sort of go, why didn't you do that? You know, it's not about pressure. It's just about yourself sort of going, well, I did say I'd do that. I probably should have at least a go at it. That kind of thing. You know, some of the things for our challenge, we don't even mind if you don't finish them. It's just actually, someone, I think Commander Ben, who posted something. He's also got a question for us, which I'll read out in a bit. But he posted his Dante from the previous challenge and said, sorry, it's a bit late. And I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. It's late. You still did it, and it looks great. That's the important thing. It's, I think time scale is another thing. People set way too harder time scales on themselves sometimes. The key thing is to actually finish it. If you can finish the model, it doesn't matter how long it really takes ultimately. But if you're making progress towards it, that's cool. I respect that. There's some people who don't even do that. They just put the model together and then say grey plastic will do. I'll play that. That's a slightly different kind of thing. I mean, there are some people who don't like to paint, and I suppose I kind of get that as well. I mean, I'm not a big fan. I mean, okay, this might sound a bit snobbery now, but I don't actually like playing games with unpainted models on the table anymore, where I can avoid it. If I'm really honest, he's going to say the opposite, but he doesn't mean it because he's also
I love plastic models,
Yeah.
grey plastic models.
yeah. You see,
No, I think you're right. I think you get to a certain point with your hobby, and you just want to be playing with painted models. It's all part of the immersion. Like and that's the thing. I went to this Teams event, and the problem with 9th edition was the terrain. I know some people say 10th edition the problem is the terrain. 9th edition the terrain was boring. It was all the same shape. It was functional. There was no flavour there. But so if you went to a tournament, most of the time the terrain would pretty much be the same stuff all the time. But at this event, the incursion event, hello Gavin, all the terrain, all the boards had a theme. So although the terrain was the same shape, there was different paints going on there. There were different designs, and it had a bit of flavour, which I was like, actually, this is pretty cool. Not just like, London Grand Tournament polystyrene kind of stuff. It was like they put some effort in, and even with the forests as well, they put some stuff in there. So I think it's all about immersion, and having painted models on the board is great. So if you've got this kind of thing where you're ready to go play games with painted models and you want to try new units out, although you feel a bit of pressure, you are still painting models, and that is then adding to your collection.
Exactly.
But I think possibly with painting, you don't necessarily have to have a YouTube account, but if you have an Instagram or Twitter or whatever, you can then put models up that you painted, and people will always give you feedback. And especially with the Discord channel as well, it's all very positive and constructive. Yeah, come on, put that link in. So it's very helpful that people can put stuff out there and go, look, it's what I've done. And it was like, oh, that's really cool. I like how you've done such and such. So yeah, I think that's a good way of getting past the old hobby blockage.
We have genuinely seen. I mean, I think there's a couple of people who have lurkers who have posted them before, and you actually see the progression they make as well, based off some of the feedback they get, which is fantastic, and I love that. I love seeing that someone develop as a painter, because it's quite intimidating to post your stuff up in front of a bunch of people that you don't know, especially when you have the anonymity of the internet. People can just say what the hell they fancy, without any technical repercussions.
Yeah.
But I like to think that our Discord is a slightly safer place than the wide world web in its entirety, because we don't go in for that. There's people I think a lot of people don't come into the painting hobby, is the painting side of the hobby, with an awful lot of skills. Some people take to it. I will admit there are people that take to it very naturally. Some people just go, oh, I know how colours work. Oh, this work, that things. But there's some people that takes a bit of time. I was definitely one of those. I mean, I can show you some models that I painted 5-10 years ago, which look utterly awful compared to what I paint now. And I still don't think I'm a fantastic painter. I think I get themes really good now. And I think some models come out much higher than what I think is. I mean, I can be quite pessimistic about my own painting, but I've kind of learned to not be bothered about that now, because it's basically the best that I can do with what I've got and how I paint. And that if I can't settle for that, then I should probably stop painting. That's probably the best way of looking at it, I think, because otherwise you beat yourself up every model you do. What's the point? You're not enjoying it. Ultimately, if someone wants to take the time and destroy you for something that you've put some time and effort into, that's their problem, not mine. Quite frankly.
I think generally though, as you paint, you can see an improvement as you go, which is like always really positive. Like even now I paint models and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, how did I do that? Right, okay. So if I've done that, I'm going to try and repeat it on my next model, and then I'm going to try something a bit different. So it's just kind of learning, and I personally get a lot of enjoyment out of painting. I find it quite therapeutic just sitting there and painting sometimes, or taking a couple of minutes and just going, oh, I'm going to do some brown on this one. Yeah, it's all good stuff. What about you guys? What do you recommend? Andy says improving old models can be a quick fix for hobby block. It can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Just going back over some of the Sisters Battle stuff, that's really encouraging me to get back in Sisters Battle now. I did a video the other week, last Friday. If any of you haven't watched it, if you haven't, go watch it. It's basically about my conversion going back to Bloody Rose, and essentially, where that's ultimately what I started off doing Sisters Battle for. Probably, I mean, God, how long ago was that? You reckon, Dom?
That was a long time ago when you did
15, 20 years ago. maybe.
Yeah.
Scary, isn't
Old.
it? Long old time.
The old metal models.
The old metal models, yeah, and yeah, and I remember back then I was really proud of the paint jobs on them, but you know, I don't have them anymore, so I can't actually compare them. You know, they got sold a long time ago because I thought System Battle would never get another update. Oh, how wrong I was. But what I found was I tried a different army, a different faction, and I found actually that made me not want to do them, which is interesting. So that's another thing about motivation is actually that's a really good one for motivation. Actually, if you're painting in a particular theme and something is bugging you about it, step back from it for a bit and just ask the question: Is this the scheme? Is this the lore? Is this the thing I am actually really interested in doing? Because sometimes a little thing like changing what I've done from silver to red, it had a nice, stronger connection to me to what I was enjoying about System of Battle when I did it, and that helped me overcome not wanting to push on with them. So yeah, it's an interesting thing as well, because sometimes you persevere on a scheme just because you started off with it and you're like, well, I started them now, I've got to finish them like this. You don't. You really don't. You can go back and change it to whatever you want. I've done it with my knights about 3 times.
Good times. Good times. So should we read the next suggestion?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the silly one first, as it's also painting related. Commander Ben wants to know what kind of mold's growing in your wet palette. I'm going to check mine now.
About my wet palette. I don't even know where my wet palette is. There you go.
In that case, yours has a much higher chance of mold growing it than mine does.
I don't know where that's.
Mine is actually very clean. So if you do this, Commander Ben, I'll just show you. Look, there's no mold in here. It's freshly cleaned out, all done. Here you go. Look, just got regular paints in there. There we go.
Oh, there you go. Wet palette.
Dom, that's
palette,
a mushroom.
Mushroom. Honestly, don't know where it is, Tom. Maybe it's in here.
He's actually looking.
Oh no, that's not where. Yeah, I'm gonna have a look. Where is it? It's got to be one of these
obviously,
cupboards.
guys, if you've got any questions live, just throw them out there. We're happy to answer them. Honestly, yeah. I mean, there'll be certain ones we shouldn't answer. But you know, go for it. Try to keep them not so controversial, because we can have a tendency to go off on one sometimes.
I've no idea where my wet palette's gone. It's probably got legs and crawled off somewhere.
He doesn't even use a wet palette. Look at him.
No, why would I use wet? No, I did. It's a great thing to have, but eventually I was just like, look, I don't actually need it.
I must admit, actually, it's one of the things I cannot live without now because of the amount of times I put certain things away and come back to it, and I find this extends my paint collection by quite a lot on certain colours because I come back and because I do a lot of things for Black Temperature which have a lot of mixes in it, and actually just being able to pop back in and out on certain colours is really helpful for me. But there we go. He's found it.
I think I know where it's.
I actually really hope it's got mould in it. And now we see Dominic heading to the other side of his table, where the Alpha Gamer reaches under to find his wet palette. Does it have mould in it? Soon we shall see.
There's no mould, however, it is still wet. Well, this is baking paper, so
I don't know. That looks.
It's still wet.
Looks quite brown.
Don't remember any brown paints going on that.
Can you just wipe those spores off your camera, please?
Yeah.
Now we've got to go. Now there was one other question, which was from Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor, which is he was asking. I think it was. Let me just double check. It was definitely. It was. I want to know what the best actor playing Batman was.
Oh right, okay. I'll tell you which one it was. Ben Affleck.
I'm a Bale fan.
I know you'd be a Bale fan.
I know.
I thought to myself, I was like, Tom's going to be a blooming Bale fan.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, go on. You say why you're.
I think Affleck is the best one so far.
Oh, interesting.
Actually, is he? Yeah, no, he is. Yeah. Thinking about it. Oh,
eras are quite a tough one though because there's such a big gap between a couple of them.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think as a kid, and I go back to the era of like Clooney, Kilmer, um, oh,
Pattinson.
Keaton.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Adam West.
very. Adam West. I think you had to take as a very big separation because that was a very different version of Batman. Because the other thing is, some of them have very different supporting casts, which I think can enhance the person playing Batman as well.
Yeah.
I
will say. Oh no! I've now thought about Keaton. Kind of thinking.
I know Keaton's quite close.
Keaton or Affleck for me. Yeah, I think they're the two. I kind of like Affleck's a bit more of a darker kind of Batman, a bit grim and dark, and I quite like that Ben Affleck is pretty much Bruce Wayne in a lot of ways in real life. Like sometimes he's like, "Hey, it's going crazy," and then other times you can see that he actually hates himself. So that's why I kind of like him.
There's always that one meme with him with the cigarette when he's just sitting.
Yeah. That's classic. Kind of like, oh, I've got to be Bruce Wayne for a bit. And he goes out the back and he's like, that's tiring. I've got to be. I'm really Batman, but I'm just pretending.
I'll just go back to Good Will Hunting and have everything done for me.
Yeah, exactly. But then Keaton, I don't know. There's something about him because obviously, he's back in the latest.
Of course, they got the crossover, haven't they?
So there's something about him. Because I just liked him in quite a lot of different roles he's done over the years.
I liked him in Spider-Man actually as well. He was
good in that.
Yeah.
He's got crazy eyes. Affleck. Okay. I'm gonna go Affleck. I'm gonna go with Affleck because he's like the older Batman. He's not necessarily in the most amazing shape he should be. And he's just quite grumpy. So, yeah, Affleck is for me. He's my one. What about you?
I'm going to stick with Bale. There's something... Yeah. I know he's quite... I suppose he comes across as a clean-cut Bruce Wayne, Batman crossover. But I think he pulls off that being... I suppose that rich attitude, but crossing over into being something quite... I think he could be... he's quite dark and, in my opinion, when he goes down into the other side of that role... In my opinion, I mean, to be fair, he had some absolutely cracking supporting cast members that made the contrast a lot better, if that makes sense. I mean, obviously, you talk about the Heath Ledger, the Dark Knight, that part, there was such a yin and yang kind of thing going on there that I think it enhanced everything that was good. But the thing is, I really like the first one, Batman Begins. That was one of my favorite. I think that was one of my favorite origin ones actually. Because I think and I said adding Morgan Freeman and also gave Christian Bale's character quite a good kind of tip-off point. Sort of, I'm just a rich guy, sort of doing a bit of vigilante work behind the scenes.
I think especially with Bale in his films, I think a lot of it kind of which made them such good films is, like you said, the supporting cast, and I don't think. I think they were like free and done.
Yes.
Yeah, I think with the Snyderverse, it was kind of like they just went everywhere. It kind of just made it horrible.
No, it did. I think you're even talking about Keaton coming back. That's in one of these massive weird attempts at trying to replicate what Marvel have done in a way.
Yeah.
And it's not really, as original. I mean, I hope it does well because I've been a secret rooter for DC because there's not a lot of DC films I've actually genuinely enjoyed, if I'm totally honest.
I think maybe with Ezra Miller being the lead, it's kind of not helped at all with the box office for that, unfortunately.
I mean, you take a look at like Suicide Squad as an example. The first one, oh god, that was a tough watch. Second one though, it's like they had to learn from doing a really bad version of the film and then going, well, we got a few casting errors there.
Oopsie daisy.
Let's change a couple of key characters around. Let's write a decent script this time. But equally, you could say there's different about like Wonder Woman. I enjoyed the first Wonder Woman. The second, the 1984 one, was a bit something wasn't.
It was trash.
It really got bad towards the end of that film as well. There was no real. I think the protagonist was awful, and In fact, the two protagonists were all. So the two. Yeah. So the two.
Oh yeah.
That's. I think that's the thing that was just weird. It was just. It didn't really make sense. So
It doesn't always work, does it? Having
no.
two. So guys in the chat, favorite Batman actor. Put it down in the chat. Which one was your favorite Batman actor?
And then while we're doing that, Vicky had another question. If we're interested, she said the strongest. What do you reckon is the strongest faction to play for Chaos, Imperial, and Xenos, and reasons why if you wanted to complete a competitive army? Oh God, she's asking the wrong people.
Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights. What Xeno's got a knight army? Well, no, I'll say Chaos Knights for Chaos at the moment. Just because what we were saying earlier, I think the armor is just. I mean, Chaos Knights in 9th edition were pretty horrible. Let alone now in 10th with the change to armor, I think it's going to be pretty brutal. To be honest, I don't know about Imperial. What do you reckon for Imperial, Tom?
I think Guard would be. I mean, I haven't had a look at the Guard stuff, but I suspect if the vehicles changes kind of affect, I think a tank army for Guard could be pretty tough to shift if you didn't have the right counter for it. I suppose. Because I mean, Space Marines are probably quite well rounded. You know, and they've got lots of tricks, but we need to look at it. We need to look way more into it. Really, we haven't really experienced it enough, to be honest. Let's be honest.
Well, I've looked at the Guard stuff. I was looking at the tanks, and what I quite like about the tanks is, although they've lost like their overall rules they had in 9th, they've all got individual rules. They've all got their own specific ones to their own types, which I was like, actually, that's pretty cool. That it does matter what type of Leman Russ you're going to take now. So I think Guard. You're right. I think Guard would be pretty solid because they can have that mix of people jumping objectives and kind of being a meat shield for the tanks in some ways, and then the tanks are going to be nasty. So yeah, I think Guard have got some cool stuff.
I suppose the cool thing about Guard is that I suspect their infantry units are quite cheap, so you can have this kind of actual what a Guard army should be, which is a mechanized big machine. It's not just I need to focus on having these bits. You need to have quite a balanced thing. I mean, obviously, you could just bring a super heavy as well, because I think some of the super heavy weapons are pretty ridiculous. Like the Bane Blade, I think.
Yeah, that's some cool stuff.
I think I saw a sheet for that, but yeah. But things like that. So yeah, I think it's a bit early to tell, and I suspect because of all the uproar for various things, I think Aldari have been getting quite a rough review at the moment for being ridiculous. I think you're going to see some quite harsh, I suppose, pullbacks from FAQs soon. So I wouldn't put your hopes on anything too much right now.
Have you looked at orcs at all?
No, I haven't actually. I haven't, which I should do. I just sort of concentrate on what this but I do need to get them out. Maybe if you're going to bring Necrons next week or whatever for a stream, we could or the week after we could do a Necron Orc Fest.
Yeah. I mean, I looked at Necron stuff and I really like the look of it. I think there's such cool stuff for Necrons. I really look forward to kind of getting them on the board and seeing what they can do. So yeah, I'm excited for Necrons. I think they're going to be a tough army. It should be a lot of fun to play. But yeah, you're right. Elder, I've had a bit of good press, bad press, depending on where you are. Sit on the fence.
I mean, people that play it will say, "Oh, you're just ragging on my army because it's good." I said, "Yeah, but when I think one of the tournaments I saw, I think it was like a 1, 2, 4, 5 placing or something. You're like, no, that doesn't sound right. It sounds like something's a bit off in the way they've done it. But we'll see because we just don't know really because it's so early. I mean, they've only just released the indexes last week technically. And I think the sad thing about it is that obviously all these people buying the printouts and stuff are going to have to buy new. Well, not buy, but they'll be out of date and they're going to go for this whole thing of having to, update them by putting little post-it notes and stuff like that already, which is just madness, really. I kind of wish the index releases were staggered maybe a month after release proper and just let people use the app or the supplied PDFs, which I know is a pain in the arse, but at least that way when they come out, they're printed correctly and you've got the right rules on them after adjustments.
I think it'll be interesting because, like I said, it brought out these data cards, so a lot of emphasis is going to be on these cards. even when the codex come out, I think someone said earlier that they're going to be kind of the
Of course,
cards are going to stay.
yeah.
Cards are awesome. I think the cards are
No, the
great.
cards are a necessity
So
now. They cannot.
the thing
go wrong.
is, if they're going to be changing, I mean, are the points on the cards?
No.
No. So I think the stats will stay the same. I think the stats for whatever will stay the same. I don't think they'll just go back to changing the points costs. However, that kind of goes.
You see, I suppose the problem with that though is you've got a unit that can take something that's very strong and something that's very weak. You penalise the weaker option by increasing that price.
Just the way it is. No, I think you're right. I think you will lean towards the stronger side of things, won't you?
Well, normally you would, but if you're just playing,
I'll have 2 plasma guns over 2 grenade launchers or whatever. But also, I don't know. Have they? A lot of them have. You can have one of this and one of that.
Yes. Yeah, that's
so you kind of.
But there are some where you can have like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah. But then other weapons are made so generic, like combi bolters.
I think they, I think there was a bit of over generication going on in some places as well. I mean, I do like. I mean, the one thing I like, even though I find a bit annoying, things like like the Sword Brethren. Yeah, obviously you normally have lightning claws, power mauls, power swords, thunder hammers. They've only separated the ones out like the hammers, but they've bundled in all the power weapons under the same thing. But then on a different data sheet, they've separated them out, which is a bit weird. I suspect that will get changed somehow, but we'll see.
I don't know. I think they'll keep the same because they had for the Chaos, for instance. So this happened to Chaos. Obviously, Marines came first, then Chaos came later, and they changed it all to accursed weapons because it just got. And I personally, I really prefer it because it got overly complicated. Going, oh, these two have got axes. This one's got a mace. This one's got a chain fist. And so you can have that chain fist in there because, the chain fist is going to be that one-off weapon that you might have or whatever. But then, I just got so annoyed. This one's got lightning claws. This one's got 1 lightning claw. This one's got, and you're like, come on. It's got all the same. They're all power weapons. And then you can just go, you've got 3 different types.
As long as they balance the differences to the reason of taking those power weapons across the board, that's the key part. If they, that's why they kept things like the thunder hammer and the power fist because they're very specific types of weapons. But then they bundled swords, mauls, claws into kind of one aspect, which is fine because I think they gave them all +1 strength and all this. I think that was fairly. It was a fairly good across. I think it just depends on how they progress down that balancing route. I mean, like I said,
suppose as well, it kind of goes along the routes like what you were saying about like having the weak weapons and the stronger weapons. Like it always happens. Like, why would you have a power sword when you can have a power axe or a power maul?
Well, technically, the reason for that previously was because it wouldn't fit in the cost.
Yeah.
So
either way, but you'd only get X amount in the box anyway, wouldn't you? So just to make it.
I mean, it depends how nutty you are.
Like me. No, but that's what Games Workshop want to kind of prevent, though, isn't it? Okay, I've got a squad of Terminators. These are all the weapons. Cool. That's what you've got. You've got extra power fists if you want to give everyone a power fist, but you've got, if you want to do that, there is a penalty.
But the other thing I think I pointed out the other week was the one slight annoyance I had was obviously I had a Crusader squad and I built it to the layout of what I had, which was I think I had 9 Marines and 4 Primaris Scouts, whatever it was. And now you can't do that because you have to take them in the set increments, which is either the full size or the half size. And the half size only has 4 Scouts and 6 Marines, and the top end is like 8 Scouts and 9 or 10 Marines, I think it was, if you include the thing. So there's a couple of little things there which I'm gonna have to adjust to make my army work, which is a little bit disappointing because I kind of built them in a different way. But at the end of the day, I can now put them in the Land Raider.
Yeah, swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
So I kind of admittedly, when you don't fire your Land Raider.
Or get anyone out of it.
Or get anyone out of it when you need to. It's a bit silly. I'm hoping I remember for next time because that was very dumb of me. But hey, it was a new rules syndrome when you're kind of sitting there looking at everything, going, "Oh, I've got to look at this, got to look at that," and just trying to keep on top of everything that you're looking at. But I'm kind of happy with my army. I think it's going to work well. I just wish I genuinely wish there just wasn't that many Marine units, but there really is too many. It really is too many. That's coming from a Marine player, you know. There's too much choice, Dom. Too much choice.
Yeah, I know. Your model range is too big. That's the problem, isn't it?
It is. It's just ridiculous. I know you're joking with me because you got chaos. It's fine. It's all right. And I'm apparently
too much choice.
It's just mad. It's mad. I think it's like they obviously it is one of the strongest selling, kits, overall, and I get it, but it's just like, oh God, just make it stop. Even I'm like going, no, we don't need another lieutenant. I mean, the 250 whatever data cards that is in there, or 100 whatever it is, I think about 40 of them are HQs.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I've got the freaking stack here, haven't
I? They will bring back war gear costs. We'll have to. Oh, sorry, Dave. Yeah, we'll go back. Dave says Marines, Ultramarines for double over moment.
Yeah.
Imperial Knights, Chaos Knights, Thousand Suns, Necrons, and Elder. I had a quick look at Thousand Suns. There's some cool stuff there, but like I say, Chaos Choice at the moment, the Chaos Knights. Necrons, yeah, so Necrons are pretty strong, and Elder, it's hard, yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one at the moment, I think, and it's so early, isn't it? It's like, if you're playing Elder at the moment, you're either going to be, sworn at, or kind of home to reassure everyone. I was doing Elder way before 10th edition. That's what people.
Dave, get used to that when you get your custodes out, okay? If custodes out to be really powerful, you're going to be, we just started these, have you? That's very convenient.
We'll see. Yeah, like I said, I think Knights are going to be a tough one, and I think Guard, like you said, I think Guard will be quite cool.
Andy actually saying I definitely won't be buying the T-shirt. No, I'm right behind you on that, Andy. Honestly, those Desolator. No, I don't know what they were thinking. It still winds me up today. It's like the ATV. Oh God! And now they've made the ATV obviously the heavy weapon platform within an Outrider squad. Now, do you know that, by the way?
Yeah, it's cool.
So you could no, it's not.
Oh, it is cool.
No,
it takes the role of the attack bike.
No, it's not. It's not a bike.
No, I like it. I think it's cool.
You're lying.
No, honestly, I think if the ATV had a role, it is the role up for the Outriders.
You just want me to buy one. I'm not getting one. No,
it's all right. Don't worry.
Well, you're not that influential, Wood. One second, I'll just go to Goblin Gaming quickly. Rules liar. I can imagine a weapons locker fee for all upgrades. So 100 points for 5 men stock, 200 points for 10 men stock, 30 points. Yeah, I mean, I think even Dom maybe doesn't agree with me, but I think there will be some form of cost attached to war gear in the competitive play, but only competitive play only. I don't think it will bleed back into matched narrative and whatever free play. I think all that will stay. I think competitive will literally have its own different set of points. I genuinely think so. When they'll pull out for the balancing, I think because they'll want to keep it as balanced for tournament play as possible, because they want to keep all these people that play tournament happy, basically, because they want to see that they're doing that. And that's where I think a lot of I hope not all the effort goes into that, because it would be a shame that that's where they kind of plough the most effort in, because obviously we've seen the Tyrannic Wars come out, the Crusade book. There's another thing, which I want to try Crusade again, because we never really, to be honest, we haven't really sort of pushed on with that, have we?
Well, it was 10th. I think 9th edition was getting quite
but I feel that when I look at all the armies that we have as a group, it's like no one really has. Apart from one of us has Tyranids, so it's like, and they say you can make battles around the Tyranid Wars.
That guy.
Yeah,
he might turn up for a turn and then
that guy. Yeah,
gotta go home again.
That guy. Hi, Kevin.
All my models. First turn I'm done. Gotta go.
But no, but it's the fact that obviously they've put it in a war zone which sounds quite specific, and the bit I'm actually interested to see how they bring other armies into that war zone without kind of drawing away from being a tyrannic. I almost feel like it's a bad theme for something, right out the gate. I mean, obviously because they're doing Marines and Tyranids as the starter set, it makes, I suppose, sense for people to have that as a first option. But you kind of look, well, how do you fit other armies into that kind of into that weapon, that arena? Is it? I mean, there might be some stuff in there. I don't know. It's without looking at it, but I'm not going to go and spend. I think it's £30-40 for the book.
Oh, I haven't even looked at the price.
No,
yeah,
it's pricey, man.
yeah, it's a bit.
And for me, it feels like because obviously there's no Crusade rules in the core rule book. Don't forget.
No, you got Combat Patrol, haven't
You
you?
have to buy the Crusade book to play the Crusade rules, technically.
Oh, yeah, I have to look into that. That seems a bit peculiar, but
But
not...
I think we spoke about this previously. Is that I suppose that if you're going to play Crusade, you'd buy that book. That's it. You wouldn't bother with the other one.
Standard 40k, not competitive.
Yeah.
Not
So
narrative.
free play. Just bring what you want. No balancing. No points levels for either team. You just literally go, I want to bring everything in this bucket and pour it onto the board and then play a game.
Pour it onto the board.
Yeah. This is my tsunami list.
Yeah. How about it? I've got some cultists up here. Like I've got painted, and it's that's very nice, very nice. Oh, shall I show you one of my cherubs? This one. I don't think you can really tell much, to be honest. I can't see the camera.
Put your hand behind it, Dom.
Yeah.
Hold still.
Well.
Hold still.
Okay.
Move the hand behind. Move the hand behind. Closer. Much closer.
Hello, I'm a cherub. You can't see it.
No,
I'll put something on Discord. It's not much to see, to be honest. It's a cherub. Yeah, good times. I think they're all the questions, Tom.
They are. Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for putting them in. I think. Do you know what I might do? I might open up a separate channel for questions. And then over between streams, hopefully you guys all put some stuff in there. I'll try and draw people's attention to it, just for stuff that we can have as topics to talk through. Because as much as we can ramble on about loads of stuff, we'd like a bit of interaction with you guys to sort of get you involved. Really, it's more fun that way, right? I've had fun tonight. It's been quite nice chatting to you all. So, he hasn't. Look at his face. He's grimacing.
No, you're all lovely people. It's good. I like random questions. So yes, Tom, set it up in there, and then we can read through them. And
we'll try and make a little daily post to remind people to put stuff in there for questions. And then we'll try and might not go through them every single
Tom. If people do have to ask questions or want to ask questions, they should join our Discord. We should just put a link in the chat.
I did.
Yeah, so that's what they need to do.
If you haven't joined our Discord, click that link. Join the waiting room. We'll bump you to a member straight away.
Also, actually, before we come to an end of this, if you are buying yourself any hobby stuff, there's a link below for Goblin Gaming, and we are an affiliate of Goblin Gaming. So it doesn't cost you anything more. You get a little bit of a discount because it's Goblin Gaming anyway. Brilliant service. And a tiny, tiny bit of money that Goblin Gaming give us so we can get things to the channel. Now, some of my close friends who've recently started a custode army decided that they were not going to click on that Discord link, and not the Discord link, the affiliate link. And yeah, sad times, unfortunately. So if you're thinking of starting a new army for 10th, use the link below. And yeah, you use the link below and help the channel grow. And I'll buy some more cherubs.
Oh dear. Also, if you take the effort of doing all that, please hit the like and subscribe button, guys. We really appreciate it. Just to show that you want to see more of the content, and just like and subscribe. It takes 2 seconds, and we really appreciate it. So yeah, that's it really. Other than that, what was this? I think the campaign book should be a sample. As much as Warzone, so the book would contain the lore of the Warzone, but the campaign rules and structure there to create your own. For example, Gaunt's Ghost would have lore, Sabat Wells Crusade, but the rules would let you set up any type of imperial. Yes, that's exactly how I envision them as well, rather than focusing on like cookie cuttering stuff into a particular war zone because when I see Tyrannic Wars, I don't think, oh, I want to get that book.
No,
because I don't know that many people that play Tyranids.
Yeah.
And Ultramarines. Matt,
oh,
you're watching.
we got a good Ultramarine player.
I know we do. We've got a very good Ultramarine player.
And a good Tyranid player.
Yeah.
When he plays the whole game.
Sorry, Gavin.
Only joking. But no, rules alert. That's the kind of thing. Chuck it in into our Discord, and we'll talk about it next time because that is such a good topic to kind of go into because there's like history of Games Workshop doing stuff in the past. So yeah, awesome stuff.
In that case, I think we'll call it there for tonight. So as usual, I am Tom, and this is
Tom,
and we are both from Black 2 Studios. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Toodaloo.